The Raptors shot just 6 for 30, 20%, from three-point range and generally looked discombobulated from start to finish. There was no better example of that than Danny Green, who was also making his return to San Antonio after heading to Toronto in the trade with Leonard in exchange for DeRozan, Jacob Poeltl, a 2019 first-round pick. Green finished the game scoreless, missing all 7 of his shots including going 0 for 6 from three-point range. "Disappointed in our play more than anything," Green said. "And in my play, especially." Meanwhile, the Spurs, despite Popovich's protestations beforehand, played this game as if their lives depended on it. Even the coach admitted afterward he wasn't telling the truth about that. "Well, 2 things," Popovich said. 1. That was a lie. A lot of people think it was a big game. But the truth is what I said after that we've never concentrated on one game. It's always about getting better, executing and competing for more of the 48 minutes than your opponent. That's your goal every single night. It doesn't matter who you are playing. While Leonard was booed anytime he was involved in the game, Green was cheered just as loudly throughout pre-game introductions. It made for an odd juxtaposition, particularly when the Spurs, before the game began, played a tribute video honoring both Leonard and Green for their contributions to the franchise. Each time Green was shown on the screen, the crowd erupted into cheers which were then followed by boos when Leonard was on the screen. The same thing happened during introductions when Green was introduced first to a standing ovation and Leonard was quickly introduced after him, though fans still didn't miss the chance to boo him some more. Both the video and the way the introductions were handled were examples of the Spurs, who had concerns about trying to mitigate the negative energy sent Leonard's way Thursday night, trying to do just that. "I felt badly about it," Popovich said of the way Leonard was treated by fans. "Kawhi's a high-character guy. We all make decisions in our lives with what we're going to do with our futures, and he has that same right as any of us. So I felt badly, in all honesty. There was nothing Popovich or the Spurs could do about the reaction of fans, however, when the game began. Every time Leonard touched the ball, the fans made it a point to express their displeasure with the star who, after playing only 9 games last season, made it clear he wanted nothing to do with the franchise any longer. The most vicious moment came midway through the second quarter when, after Leonard was fouled, fans began chanting "traitor" at him. Eventually, the chants dissolved into boos and then cheers when Leonard missed the second free throw. "I mean, it was expected," Green said of how the fans reacted. "We can hope, predict, and you expect the worst, but I've been in this league long enough where you know there's going to be some boos, there's going to be some cheers. I wasn't disappointed. I kind of expected it to be one or the other, and it wasn't shocking." Things went sour between Leonard and San Antonio last season when there was a disagreement over how to handle the tendinopathy in his left quadriceps that bothered him throughout 2017-18. Leonard wound up playing only 9 games with the Spurs, none after mid-January, and missed San Antonio's 5-game loss to the Golden State Warriors in the first round of the Western Conference playoffs. After scoring the opening basket of the game, a driving layup, on which he was also fouled, Leonard flexed and let out a yell. It was far more than his usual reaction to a made basket, especially to start a game, and was probably a better indication about his feelings in facing his old team than anything he said at his interview session before Thursday's morning shoot-around. "At times, yeah," Leonard said, when asked if he had any regrets about how his final year with the Spurs played out. "But it's a new year, new season. I'm just looking at what is in front of us right now." That opening basket was about the lone bright spot for the Raptors, though, as the Spurs jumped out to a 15-5 lead and kept their foot on the gas from there. San Antonio led by as many as 23 points in the first quarter and finished the opening 12 minutes with a 38-19 lead. DeRozan had 9 points, 8 rebounds and 4 assists in the first quarter alone and finished the first half with 19 points, 10 rebounds and 5 assists, the first time a Spurs player had at least 15 points, 10 rebounds and 5 assists in a half since Tim Duncan did it 12 years ago. The rest of the Spurs looked equally motivated for a chance to exact some revenge on Leonard. Outside of a surge late in the second quarter that cut a lead of what was once as many as 26 points down to 16 at the break, Toronto was in a shambles. Once the second half resumed, it was more of the same. While Toronto began the third quarter missing 6 straight shots including 4 threes, San Antonio went on a 12-0 run to push the lead back to 28 points and leave the ending decided aside from the final score. "I feel good, except for losing the game," Leonard said. "I'm glad I walked off the floor healthy. We got some things as a team to look at and get better at. But the past is the past, and I'm still playing. I really won't reflect on what has happened until I retire. I just try to keep moving and get better on what we are doing."